Scramble of Africa was an invasion and colonization of African territories from European countries. This process took place between 1881 and World War I. The partition of the African map was motivated by economic, political, and social reasons. The way European nation states behaved in order to achieve their goals in the African continent prevailed above morals, ethics, and idealism. In the 19th century, Europe was in the middle of the Second Industrial Revolution, a period of time in which the factories of Europe wanted to expand into new markets. Therefore, European industrialized countries such as Great Britain, Italy, Germany, France, Portugal, Spain, Belgium, among others, started to colonize so as to achieve their goals. The African country presented some characteristics. For instance, it offered a wide range of cheap raw materials such as cotton, cocoa, diamonds, and palm oil. Although this economic motivation played a large role in the colonization of Africa, it was not the only one. Another reason that gave an advantage for the colonization of Africa was that, for the first time, the European countries owned enough technological capacity to do it. Till then, two obstacles restricted the European to reach the African coast. One was the diseases, especially malaria, which caused the death of about half of the Europeans who arrived in the Western Africa, and the other one was the absence of a military superiority. Quote, África, historia de un continente.
With the request of some countries, it was decided to hold the Berlin Conference on November 15, 1884. The conference began with a speech of its president, the Prussian Otto von Bismarck, and it ended on January 26, 1885. On the table, all African countries were distributed except two, Liberia and Ethiopia.
Your map of Africa is really quite nice, but my map of Africa lies in Europe. Here is Russia and here is France, and we are in the middle. That's my map of Africa. Quote of Otto von Bismarck, 1888.
The causes of the Berlin Conference were the growth of the European population in Europe as a consequence of the Industrial Revolution, the needs of a new European economic system because markets began to show signs of saturation, political causes in order to obtain military and commercial control, and ideological and scientific factors. The consequences of the Berlin Conference were economic, as new infrastructures were established for the benefit of the Europeans, political, all the colonies suffered dependence on their metropolises, social, as indigenous were marginalized and exploited, demographic, thanks to the introduction of vaccines and medicines, and cultural, having indigenous people suffering the strong impact of Western values, ideas, and religions.
From a global perspective, another consequence was the triangular trade, in which sugar, tobacco, and cotton traveled from America to Europe, textiles, rum, and manufactured goods from Europe to Africa, and slaves from Africa to America. The Scramble of Africa began an international relations issue and still pursues nowadays. How European countries started to invade the African territory became a global issue in the 18th century. The damage caused by Europe is permanent in the whole of IR. Nowadays, Africa continues to suffer many consequences. So, shouldn't we ask ourselves if we are living a new scramble for Africa? Many countries such as United States, Europe, and China are still exploiting the African territory. This is the case of China nowadays. We can see that more than 10,000 Chinese firms are operating in Africa, whose conquest has been launched in search of raw materials and a vast emerging market.